Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for this lovely data. I guess there's two main points that I want to talk about. When we break out by subcategory, like I recognize that we're overall our PARCC scores were 1 or 2 in the state, but when you look at just our white students, most of our scores we are below.
Reading.
In reading specifically, yeah, math seems better, but in ELA, most of our scores, when they're broken down for the white kids, we are below the state average in most of those categories.
That is
Can
correct.
you explain to me how it's possible that we can still be number 1 or 2 when the majority of our students are actually averaging below the state average?
I can.
Okay.
I can try.
Okay.
I've tried a number of times with a number of boards to sort of to get some sense of how this happens. It's actually a statistical paradox. It's been named Simpson's paradox. The paradox is this: that when you look at an entire group, you can see one trend, but when you break that down, you can see completely opposite trends. All right. In your mind, it's real hard to deal with. In my mind, it's real hard to deal with because it doesn't make any sense. But it is a matter of proportions, right? If you look that we're 85 to 89% white, whatever our white score is our all score.
Say that again?
Whatever our white score is very, very close to our all student score.
Oh, okay.
So if our white student score is 67%, regardless of what our minority populations do, our overall score is going to be 67.
Because of the number of students in each bracket.
Because of the percentage of our
90%
population.
or 89%, whatever being.
That is
okay.
not true in every system.
Right.
In a system where you have only 30% of your population being white, your white score is averaged in at a lesser proportion than your other scores. So we can be at the top. In theory, we could be at the top of all of the categories except for white and still be number 1 in the state.
Oh, that's crazy.
As a matter of, it's a weighted proportion.
Like,
He
well,
said it was complex.
I know. No, I mean, I can get what you're saying, but then I think the implication then is that although we may be number 1 in the state, because our population is majority white and because when we look at only our white population, we aren't doing as well as number 1 in the state, that perhaps we have more work to do than it appears when you first just look at the scores.
And I wouldn't want that to be misinterpreted. I don't think that we have a white learning problem in Carroll County. I think there is an overall expectation that students generally are meeting our expectation for learning, and we want them to improve. But that reflection, that expectation has led to, and they're not bad. I mean, when you look, they're average. Those scores generally are average. So 80% of our students relative to others are scoring average.
Well, and average isn't bad. You're absolutely right. However, I think we need to be mindful to not say our school system we're doing the best that we can do and we don't have any room for improvement. And I'm not saying that any of us are saying that. I'm just, when you have front page news that says PARCC scores were the best in the state, like at the Combined Education Committee, I heard repeatedly, you guys are doing great, you're the best in the state. I don't know that we necessarily have a funding problem. So I guess my point here is,
But
you want to finish my
yeah,
point?
well,
Okay.
no, I'm not going to finish your point, but what I'm going to say is when you compare the ELA to the math,
Well, that was my
we
second
have
point.
the same formula that we use, yet we look a whole lot better in the math than we do in the ELA.
And there is a distinct difference. I mean, yes, the performance in math relative to others is higher than performance in ELA. That's undeniable.